He dipped. It's Monday. Happy Monday. Here we are live again. We are live and undead. I got some photos to show y'all, but I'm going to dive right into this instrument because I want to get this thing corrected and set up proper and done all that stuff. We've done a lot of work on this little toy guitar. We'll call it a toy guitar just because it's nothing really terribly fancy. What I'm doing here is I'm cutting a few shims. I'm going to cut a couple of them. That one's approximately 3/8 of an inch wide. And then I'm going to cut one that's just slightly wider because I think I need a pretty tall shim to get this thing behaving properly. And what I'm using for shim material is something that cannot be compressed. This is a pick guard material that we get with specific guitars that come in. Some people want a pick guard put on their guitar and some people don't. So we offer to put the pick guards on them, and if they don't want the pick guard, we offer to send it home with them, and or they can leave it with us and we can use it for something like this. Now, it does have a sticky substance on the back of it that I am simply trying to get some dust off of my bench so that I can, so it's not quite so sticky, right? Okay, this thing needs a neck shim, and I need to pull the neck off of the instrument, so and I have to do some cleaning on this. So I'm going to pull the neck first and do some cleaning. That way I can get some stuff out of the way to make sure I can get it clean. And I've experimented with this a little bit, and I have a good idea for how to clean this up. Now, I will be showing a slideshow of the instrument prior to cleaning it. In the process of pulling this neck off, I'm going to pull the neck plate off of here because I need to test something, and this is a great way to be able to check to see if certain products might possibly damage the finish on a guitar. Look at, we've got all this nice area right here where that no one will ever see. Because the neck plate will be on it. So I'm not sure what this substance is that's on here right now. Let me get you over here. I'll move my camera so you can see what I'm up to here. Alright, so in fact it almost looks like, let me see how well we can see those spots on there. I might need to come at it from a different direction, but you can see these little spots on here. Let me get my, gotta see, independent, hello. Let's see. Trying to, my camera angle. Let me see if I can, yeah, right in this area there's some spottiness in it, but you'll be able to see that a little bit better. But what I'm doing is I'm checking to see if denatured alcohol, which is a great cleaning agent, however, anything with alcohol or paint thinner in it or anything like that can potentially damage the finish. Well, let's make sure it doesn't damage the finish. So I'm applying some denatured alcohol, which is basically you can use it to fuel like candles or lamps, camp stoves, things like that. I'm going to put a little bit more on there. I'm going to rub some in underneath the area where the neck plate goes, just to make sure that this doesn't smear or melt the paint that's been used on. This is a really affordable instrument, and obviously this stuff does not. It would have melted like a lacquer finish, say on maybe a Gibson or a Fender guitar, likely would have melted this stuff. It would have smeared and it looked really bad on it. So I think I'm pretty safe to do this. So let's go ahead and pull the neck off of the instrument. Yes, I did not take the strings off of the instrument or even loosen the string tension. So I'm going to set the neck over here. This will give me a little better access to the guitar so that I can clean up. There is, let's see, let's get up here. Now you'll probably be able to see these little specks. I'm looking at my my camera here to see. Yeah, right on the horn of that guitar, you see all those little specks on there, those dots, spots. I don't know if this thing was shot with some clear lacquer right there at the tip of the, you can see all that guck on there, and it doesn't look very nice. And you know, we could probably put this guitar back together again and sell it, but I'm going to see if some denatured alcohol will remove these spots. Now I just showed you the spots that are on this that I'm a little bit concerned about, and selling this to someone, and absolutely it looks like this denatured alcohol is taking it right off. So whatever material was used that caused all these spots on it, and I'll show you the spots again. I got to make sure I don't destroy the plastic also. And you can see some of the guck coming off of here. You can see the discoloration. These spots are just all over this guitar. So I'm going to clean all of this stuff off of the instrument. Again, it's just going that little extra mile, minute, couple feet, whatever you want to call it, to make sure that this thing looks nice for whoever buys it. So independent, it sounds like you may have changed your open mic discussion panel to Mondays. Am I correct on that? I've tried to stay up to date on what everybody's up to, but I kind of have participated in a lot of live streams. And I try and get on people's live streams, but boy, it's tough as much as I work and as much as I have to work on outside of work. Okay, so that's working really good. I know this is really super exciting to watch somebody clean speckles of paint or whatever this substance is off of this guitar. But again, hopefully if you have a guitar with some stuff on it that you can't, or stickers, decals, whatever, denatured alcohol is a really great product to use to clean it off. It'll kind of eat through certain things, but it doesn't touch, it's not touching the finish on this instrument, which is good. You have to be really careful with it. Don't do as I do. Do as I say. Test the spot on an instrument that can't be seen, or that you don't mind if it gets a little smudge in the finish, because you could use denatured alcohol on a really expensive guitar and totally screw up the finish on it. Now what I'm doing right now, again, it's just, this is probably brand new. This guitar would have been $120, right? But someone gave it to us. In fact, a very good friend of mine gave it to us because he's cleaning up his house. He has this guitar. He owns, I don't know, I think 25 guitars. And this one was sitting under his staircase at his house probably for 15 years. And we'll let a few more people maybe show up. I don't have the same type of draw that I've had in the past, probably because of my terrible attitude. And again, I know you can't see everything I'm doing because I don't have my camera guy following me real good, but getting all these little speckles off of the instrument. Let's see, some here, there's a bunch here. Let me get you pointed up here at the business. So there's a lot of stuff. I don't know how well or if you'll be able to see the speckles in that area. I'm talking about this stuff right here. I can even feel it. It kind of has a little texture to it. I know it doesn't look like much on the internet. I don't have 4K video that would probably show it, but I'm going to wipe this down and get the stuff off of there. And let's see. Oh yeah, the denatured alcohol is doing a great job. Looks like this guitar may have had a shim in it at some point. Here's a little piece of plastic, and I want to make sure, yeah. 2005 SGE 7500. I'll show you that here in a moment. All right, so I've used the denatured alcohol, and now you can see that any of those discolored or the little speckles that were on the instrument are now gone. All right, and I need to check the whole instrument over. I want to check every little bit of it, just so I don't have any like obvious places where those speckles are showing. Make this thing look really nice. This is stuff that if you're going to be working on guitars, you got to learn how to do this stuff. You have to experiment, and experience is your only opportunity, or you can watch guys like me who have done this for most of their lives, and we'll give you lots of good ideas. Jerry Rosa is another really wonderful YouTube content creator, and I've learned a lot from him. Dave's World of Fun stuff. Have tons of experience. Now, there are lots of guys that have just retired, and you know, maybe they've worked with wood their whole life, but they haven't worked on guitars for very long, and they're fun to watch, don't get me wrong, but a lot of times the experience that they have in what they're sharing isn't necessarily always right. Of course, I'm not 100% correct either all the time. I've definitely watched me make mistakes on my channel. But when I make a mistake, because of all of the experience that I have, I'm able to usually correct that mistake, and usually it's nothing fatal for a guitar. Sparky 971's a wonderful guy. You guys should go check out his channel. He does some really creative stuff and painting guitars and things like that. All right, so we've gotten that part taken care of. I'm looking this over real good. Oops, I'll get you pointed down here, and just kind of going over my handiwork here to make sure. Again, this is a really cheap guitar. What brand is it? It's a what is this thing? It's a Eterna by Yamaha, a Yamaha guitar. I should probably take this to our next gig, just to show my partner in crime, who owned this guitar, very good friend of mine, that well, if you can't play it or don't want to play it, I will, right? Use this at a gig. Because once it's set up all properly, which over the weekend, over the last 2 full days, one of our help here at the shop did some setup and put strings on it. Last Friday evening, I pulled all the hardware off of it and cleaned it all up, just to stay busy. I was reaching the end of my day, and I had a couple hours or an hour to work on this thing, so I spent about an hour or so cleaning this. So that's the story behind this guitar. Isn't that fun? Let me get this out of the way. Yeah, I get it. Thank you. Okay, so let's see. Appreciate you guys stopping in today. I'm gonna go to live chat. Interesting how YouTube puts you as top chat instead of. But although I can see if you had 100,000 members and you had 18,000 people commenting, you'd want to keep it on the top chat. That's for big channels, but they cater to the big channels so they don't have to change any settings. on there when they open it up, like us little guys do. Alright, that's looking a whole lot better. I could probably run some polishing compound on this to get rid of some of the swirls here, and trying to decide if I really want to do that. I think I'm going to, but first I'm going to shim the neck. So I'm going to cut my shims to the proper size. So we'll cut this one here. Does this fit in here? Almost. Had a great show this weekend. It was really a lot of fun. Played at a club called the T-Post in Walla Walla, Washington. Check that place out. Very great, cool staff, very helpful, and really fun audience this weekend. People were had a couple of one birthday party in there, a young lady, and of course I never ask how old they are. But we had a really great time at that club, and I was worried. I got a note from the sound engineer that said he wasn't going to be there, and they said that they always say they provide a sound engineer, and so one of their other sound engineers who wasn't playing a show, he plays in a really great band called Shank's Pony, was there to man the board for us this weekend, so that was cool. So I could focus on playing guitar, kind of like I'm used to when we play there. Again, I'm rubbing this on my bench here to get whatever little pieces of dust that I might have to stick to it, so that the sticky debris doesn't stay on there. And there we've got our shim set, and we're going to go ahead and put the neck back on this instrument. Let's see if everything went just right. We should. See, I didn't even have to take the strings off it or lower the string tension or anything like that, detune it or anything, so saved myself a bunch of work in doing that. Now we will put the plate back on it, put the screws back in here. Don't use power tools on guitars, by the way. I know I say this on every live stream, and it truly is kind of a joke. I'm going to set my clutch at about 7 so that these do get tight, but they don't strip the screws out. You'd be shocked at how many guitars come in with the heads of Phillips drive screws are stripped out. Right. Not too tight, just tight enough that they get snug, and then I can cinch them up by hand. Phillips head screwdriver. Where my large Phillips is. Let me see here. So here's at my large. Is that it? Let's see what happened to my large Phillips driver. It is not on my bench. It is on my helps bench, and we need to make sure, regardless of what happens, my other Phillips driver is over here. Right, making sure. It's important, you guys, if you work with others and you borrow their tools. Now, I don't care how old you are, what kind of education you have, or who you are in relationship to who owns the shop or the business that you work for. If you borrow a tool, put it back, right? It doesn't stay on your workspace. That's a bad habit to get into, because it forces other people that work there have to go look for stuff that they should have at their immediate disposal, right? Okay, just saying. I learned all this stuff being a plumber, right? We had to buy our own tools. You know, we didn't borrow screwdrivers. We just went and bought one. Part of having a career like that. Okay, so I put that shim in there because our string action is so low that all of these set screws, or the adjustment screws, are poking up out of the top of the not to speak to you personally, but are you aware that over time those sort of shims eventually cause the ski ramp warping? Let's see. And to answer that question, my Fender Strat was built in 1978 in the United States of America. It still has the factory neck on it, still has the factory body. I've altered the pickups and the electronics in it to make it play for me. And it has zero effect on what you're talking about. So no disrespect, but I'm not sure where you've seen that or what type of guitar that you're talking about, but I've never seen it, and I've only been working on guitars for 40 years-ish. My own guitars. And believe me, I've fucked up my own guitars many times. So hopefully that might rebut what you're saying there. It does not do that to guitars. There's a lot of people that are anti-shim. It changes my tone and all that stuff. I have shims in my guitars. I play professionally, and no, it doesn't. At least not on mine. It might on specific, a different brand, or maybe a different material that the neck is made out of. Could be. I'm not sure. I'll check out your channel. Let me go look at your channel. There's several, usually older models, a few decades. Yeah. I get it, man. And I suppose it could. I'm not going to discount that. But this is a 2005 model guitar. Most of these guitars are built out of really green wood. You know, the quality of wood that guitars are being built out of is not cured like it was, you know, back in the day, we'll call it. Obviously, it's made out. Most guitars are made out of pretty green wood, so we have to definitely be careful of that. Now, I may have put too many shims in here. I just am checking, but I'm getting this. As you can see, now these are not going to dig into somebody's hand when they're palm muting on the instrument, and I can definitely see that I have tilted the neck too far down. So I'm gonna loosen these up, and I'm gonna remove one of the shims that I have in there. Yeah, thank you. I just use StewMac shims. Yeah. Dude, go buy you a couple of pieces of this stuff will not compress. This is pickguard material, and there's lots of stuff you can use. I don't like using wood shims because wood does compress, and so in that case, over time, when those set screws, as the wood starts to get squished, the neck angle that you've adjusted will change. So that's why I've chosen to use material that is, you can't compress this stuff. Now, that's not to say that this won't, as you tighten the set screws, compress into the body wood or the neck wood, create a little bit of a dent or a divot there. I do not discount that, not at all. But I know that this material itself will not shrink over time. So I've definitely put too much of a shim in here, so we're going to loosen this back up. I'm going to pull one of them out, and we'll move on. I don't have to, again, I don't have to loosen the string tension or untune the strings or anything like that. I'm just pulling one of these shims out of here. You see, it's very, they're definitely not easy to get out. I've got mine shaped very nicely for this guitar, so they fit the neck pocket really well. I've done it so much that I can do this stuff pretty quickly. So I know that again, I don't do everything like everybody else does. So if I don't do things the way you do, please do share some of your thoughts on the work that I'm doing. That is always welcome. Let me see here. And be careful using power tools on electric guitars. You can mess up a guitar pretty badly with a cordless drill. I use a little DeWalt 12 volt, so it doesn't have like tons of torque. And I usually check the make sure to check the chuck on it, or the what am I saying? There we go. Very careful about setting the clutch to a specific tightness. And this thing shouldn't take too long to get finally set up. Making sure all the strings are hitting the saddles in the right place. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead again. I'm going to try and make a preemptive strike here. Now, I'm not sure about y'all, but I use the Fender. This is a Fender scale guitar, so I measure at the 17th fret, and I try to try to keep string tension on the strings so that I've got neck relief fairly close, and I will do that before I make my final string action adjustment. But as you can see now, these are not sticking up. I don't know how well you can see this, but that is really something that bugs me with those sticking up. If you're palm muting, one of the few flaws that Fender ever did was this, but again, you can shim them, so it makes it really nice. And I got to be careful here because I don't want to be raising these strings up so high that they snap. Alright, so we're getting close. Again, I'm just making a preemptive strike on this to get them somewhat close to where they should go. The other thing I pay close attention to, and I've said this many times, is to set my saddles nice and level. Instead of tilting them, I like to see them sit level when the string action is adjusted, just because it definitely keeps the string from sliding off of the saddle. These saddles actually have little slots that the string sits in, which is really nice. Let me see. Rakata, welcome, man. Appreciate it too. This resin material better. Yeah, good. Until they change building methods, you still need to shim. Yep, that's absolutely right. Yep, all of that stuff. Okay, so I'm going to check my string action right now. It's 17th fret. Again, I am currently at 3/64. I'm going to bring that up a little bit further. I should be able to reach 4 or 5/64. And I try to set them at 5/64 at the 17th fret, which some guys think that's a little bit high, and that's fine because it can be lowered at that point. There we are at 4 1/2/64. Now again, I don't have the truss rod adjusted for this string height, but I will do that, and then we'll set the string action on this instrument proper. And I kind of graduate my string height across the guitar. I do 5, 4 1/2, 4, 3 1/2, and then try to get down to 3 on the treble strings on this. And I think what I'm going to run into here is likely that the neck relief is not set proper here on this guitar, because we did just put new strings on it. And so the string gauge may be slightly different. Right, you've got all that stuff to consider. So we're just kind of doing a final setup on this thing so that I can go play a gig with this guitar. That's my plan. Now, I want to show you a slideshow real quick. Those of you who might still be here, you got to check this out. I'm going to show you a slideshow of what this guitar looked like before I cleaned it. Until they changed building method. Yeah, that's exactly right. And you know, the Fender does it best, I think. Bolt-on. I'd rather work on a bolt-on neck any day of the week over a set neck. So check this out. Where are you? Here's a slideshow of what this guitar looked like on Friday. You ready? Get ready. Here we go.
We can't do phone supports, dude. They gotta call Lifesaver for that stuff. Those are legal questions. I can't talk to people about that.
Well, I tried to ask him when he needed it, and he wouldn't tell me.
Yeah. So will they throw it in and I can look at it?
All right, well, I'll take care of it. So
Yep. This was only 3 days ago. I'll let this slideshow roll for a moment. And I'm going to check the neck relief now while you're watching these slides of this guitar. Here's the guitar now. All right. Here's the guitar on Friday. Checking the neck relief, and I'm not sure my help may have adjusted this. Neck relief is way too shallow right now, so we're gonna turn the truss rod and get this neck relief set right. Interesting, the way they've done this on this guitar is really weird. Check this out. All right, this is kind of weird. This is an Eterna by Yamaha guitar, and I've never seen this type of truss rod cover. This is probably a pretty cool guitar. So I'm missing my. Also, some of my my pokers are all missing. Of course, my ice pick is missing from my toolkit, and my two favorite tools, which are other people's favorite tools, are both missing. I have a I don't know where they went, but again, if you borrow a tool from someone, return it to where you got it the moment you're done using it. This appears to be a 5mm, probably a 5mm adjustment screw. That was it the other day. Oh, I'm sorry, I had the, you couldn't see that. So what they've done is they've used this little plug that drops into the hole there, and then a little set screw that holds it in place. I gotta be honest, this is probably the first one. I don't remember working on one that had an adjustment like that before. My metric wrenches. There we go. Let's see. So I've got a 5mm. So we're gonna loosen this truss rod. It's a little bit tight. We'll see. I'll pull that string out of there. I can get at this thing. I think it's a 5mm. My hex key is just a little bit too long. So you got to have a really short hex key here to make this actually be able to get the. Let's see. So we're going to loosen. Okay, so I'm able to get enough of a bite on that I can turn it. This is a really dangerous setup here, because you'd have to have a hex key that's about has about, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch cut off the end of this one. Who makes a hex key that short? Nobody. All right, couple turns. Let's check where we're at now. I'm going to check the tuning on this thing so we know we're correct on our neck relief with the string tension being set up correctly. Oh, Hugh, if you're still here, I hope you're doing well, man. And also, this thing has been set up with the, I don't know if my help that was working on this took the time to try and float the bridge, but I will do that today also. It has a classic basically Fender Strat whammy bar, vibrato bar. Okay, we're getting close enough. All right, let's check our neck relief now. See where that's at. Let's check this. I'm checking it at 12 thousandths of an inch. Let's see. And with that little turn, it's still a little bit flat right now. And also I noticed another thing that happened on this. The frets weren't polished before the strings were put on it, so I'm going to have to pull the strings off of this thing and polish the frets on this thing. They did not get polished, and I'll just show you actually I don't have to pull the strings off it, but I'll definitely have to loosen all the tension. So I've done a bunch of work already and failed to look at what my help did. Now that is something that I do, which is why I'm trying to be the only person working on guitars, because everyone that works here has to do things the way I do them, or we don't get return customers. They might be upset because their frets weren't polished. These are definitely not. So I'm going to loosen these up and pull all the tension back off the strings and do a little touch-up work that should have been done before the strings were put on the instrument. It's just wasted steps ultimately, which I know that some people that don't care about that so much, but I do. I built a pretty strong business here because of the quality of my work, and if other people are going to work on guitars, they need to do it the same quality, I think. So we'll go over that. And also, it almost seemed like that bridge may have floated a little bit when I pulled the string tension off. Okay, so I have to go over this again. I did not realize that this wasn't done, but we're going to do that right now, which means I'll have to clean the fingerboard again and do all of that over. But so here's what the frets look like now. I'll give you a flyby, and I can see that these things are not polished. I mean, if I just rub it with my finger, I can see that it's getting cleaner, right? So this is something I was hoping I wouldn't have to do. I was hoping that the young man who's working here also would have done this when he had the strings off of the opportunity, but apparently didn't get done. So we'll see what happens with that. All right. I'm going to do a couple of these, and I'll do them right out here in the middle, so you can see what the difference is, right? I think that does a pretty good job of showing you exactly what the difference is between a polished fret and an unpolished fret. And this can be done with no strings on the instrument, really easy. And then you also do it before you clean the neck because then you can clean off any of the excess polishing compound that might be left on the wood. So I'm going to have to clean the neck one more time also, which I'm pretty sure this one was cleaned, possibly oiled. I don't know. But boy, that's a marked difference, right? You could damn near sell this for guitar brand new, aside from all the little dings in it. I'm joking. I'm totally joking. You could never sell this guitar as brand new. There's so much wrong with it right now. Okay, so usually when you pull the strings off of an instrument, you know, polishing the frets would be one of the first things that you do before doing any setup work or any repair work or anything like that, because you get this out of the way, and you know, there's kind of an order of operations. It saves you from having to do stuff twice ultimately, because you know, in the plumbing world, wasted steps is very expensive. It costs a lot of money to pay a guy to walk out to the van to grab an extension cord when he needs an extension cord and a 45-degree offset, and he forgets to bring in the 45-degree offset, so he has to walk back out to his van to get that part, you know. And I look at this guitar repair stuff in the same way. I don't want to take a bunch of extra time working on an instrument when I don't really have to. So I think you all get where I'm coming from on that. Keeping cleaning guitars is a lot of my job. It's a very big part of my job. Every guitar that comes in here, even if it's just for a string change, there are little things I can do like this to make my work more valuable and make my customers happier with the work that I've done for them. And so I like to make sure that it always gets done when anybody at my shop works on guitars. We don't all do things the same way, but you know, if other people are going to be allowed to do work that I've been doing here for so long, I really would like them to do it the way I do it. So these are things that get overlooked due to being distracted with TikTok or cell phone calls or getting called off to do other stuff. You know, it happens. I've been the only one working on guitars here for a lot of years, and now we've had somebody else helping, and you know, when I double check the work, it's just not at the same quality that mine is at, and I'd really like to help improve that, but I can't be here 24 hours a day. I don't work 7 days a week. All right. Now I'm going to, at this point, I'm going to use some, let me see what's going on in the chat here. Oh, and by the way, again, take a look. Here's the guitar before. Yeah, this is the thing. This is this guitar on Friday, last week, literally 3 days ago. Right there. And the whole. Right, the knobs, and pickups. A lot of that was just dust, but boy, there was a lot of like oversprayed paint on it. So I thought that might give you a good example of what we've put into this thing so far. Kind of cool. Sparky, there we go. Let's see here. Doing much better. I'm glad to hear it. What are the bass pickups and bridge part from? Oh, those are from another instrument. That's a great question. When I get done with this one, I will bring that bass out, and I have ordered a new pickup for that one, but this is from another bass that came from the same home, and forgive me for not answering that question sooner. Those came from another instrument that was at the same location, in the same location as this one, and it was in the same shape, but it's been painted by a paintbrush. It had paint brushed onto it. We're not gonna go about unpainting it at this point. That might be something that we could do at a future time, just to get some experience in doing finish work on an instrument. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to use my same rag, and I'm going to use some good old-fashioned Roncinol, and I'm going to wipe down this fingerboard again after I have polished the frets. Roncinol is a really great cleaner for wood. It evaporates into nothing, and it does a great job of removing material. I'll show you my rag when I'm done wiping this down. You want to be careful with Roncinol too, because it does have stuff in it that could potentially damage finish on a guitar. So you got to be careful. It works great on bare raw wood, fingerboards and bridges and things like that, but you just want to be careful not to get it on the finish if you haven't tested a spot, because it will eat in the finish and create a blur, right? And it evaporates into nothing. Took all of that stuff off of the fingerboard. All right, I'm going to go over it one more time with this. You can see, how long have I been live? 45 minutes now. So I've been on this thing, working on this thing for about, I'd say a total of about 40 minutes, and I'm still cleaning it. But we've now got the frets all polished up, and the fingerboard, all the guck off the fingerboard, and adjusted the truss rod to a appropriate adjustment. Now it's really starting to, this thing's going to be sweet, and I will play it when I'm done working on this and decide if it's worthy of maybe going to a gig with me, because I think that would be really funny. There's more stuff that came off of the fingerboard, so we're going to go over it one more time. Here we go. Let me find a clean spot, if I can find one. I'm going to have to go get some new rags today because I'm out of rags. So I'm going to have to go to the store and get some rags, and I'll pick up a couple other things that I'm a little short on right now. Now, I could probably go over this 100 times, and there would still be some dye from the wood that's coming off of there. You can see all that stuff is still left on the fingerboard. I'm just going to keep wiping it down. And yes, the lighter fluid will definitely dry, kind of dehydrate the wood a little bit. So if you do this, definitely use some oil on there. I do recommend boiled linseed oil above all else for treating a fingerboard. And I think I've shared with folks where I learned that from, and like I said, if it's good enough for Keith Richards, it's good enough for all of us. Okay, so just to kind of show you all the guck that I've already gotten off of this just today, that the new owner of this instrument will not have to clean. And I am going to go over this with a buffing wheel too. Thank you guys for hanging with me. It looked like it was owned by the creature from the Black Lagoon. Dude, isn't that crazy? Yeah, here it is again, just to kind of give you a comparison. That's just nuts, man. Look at how dirty that thing was. Crazy. I need a paper towel, and I'll here, we'll stop that slideshow. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so here we go. We're gonna I'm gonna just go over this. This is stuff I've had on my channel many times. Let's see. It's tilted as far as it'll. Oh yeah. Okay. There we go. I got rid of that E-cam. I sent it back, and they were happy to take it back. I'm glad I got rid of it. It seemed like a really good idea to have it follow, you know, like when you're moving and things like that. But it is full of flaws, and if you're gonna get a camera that is like a face follower, or you definitely need to spend some money on it. Yeah, normally I would do this before strings are on the instrument, but they've already been put on here, and it should have been done before the strings were put on this, but it didn't get done, so I'm having to work around the strings. Unfortunately, this is not my normal order of operations. All right. I'm using boiled linseed oil, like I said. I was using unboiled linseed oil up till about the time my other can ran out, and then I decided to go with boiled linseed oil because it cures a lot faster, and that allows me to finish up a guitar and send it home with a cured neck versus one that's not cured. Boiled linseed oil takes roughly 24 to 48 hours to finally dry. This stuff takes about 12. And in either case, I've never had a problem playing an instrument after just putting linseed oil on it, but I think that move was a smart one, and most other techs that I've seen that I've learned from do use boiled linseed oil. I'm tightening the strings back up. We're ready to put string tension back on it. You can see the linseed oil, maybe you can see it kind of bubbling up. This is probably a laminated neck, and so it doesn't soak up like a solid wood neck would do. My ear still works. Okay. So now that I'm tuning this up to pitch, it's the vibrato bar is starting to lift a little bit, and so we've got. Now here's another thing that I've not been real clear about when I'm doing setups and putting string changes and things on guitars. Oftentimes, when a guitar has a whammy bar, while you're tuning the instrument up, it's a good idea to whammy that thing fairly often during the process of tuning it up and stretching the strings and things, because it helps the string, the whammy bar, settle into where it's being tuned. Lets the spring. We'll see how. This thing definitely has a plastic nut. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stretch these a little bit. These are 9-gauge Everly strings. I'm not going to highly recommend Everly strings. Many of them that we've gotten in stock have had like a corrosion on them, fresh out of the bag. There we go. Haven't checked the electronics in this thing, so let's make sure. Actually, I did check the electronics, but let's double check and make sure they work. And I'm gonna check the chat, see what's happening over there. Hopefully everybody's having a really great Monday. We love Mondays. Mondays are awesome. And I kind of knew that I was going to have this thing to look forward to. Sparky, I have a Stratocaster looking object with the same pickup configuration. Yeah, it's that one, humbucker in the bridge position. I want some advice on replacing the pickups. I want it to be a rocker. Looked like it was Sparky, that's a great question. If you want it to rock and you want to use gain, oops, sorry. Hopefully that didn't make you sick with all the motion. If you want it to really rock, I do recommend putting a humbucker, definitely whatever humbucker. Pickups are a shot in the dark. Let me think. I use a dark matter in my bridge position on my Ibanez, and then in these two positions I would use DiMarzio hot rails. I would recommend a chopper in the neck and maybe a PAF or a super distortion in the middle position, but put humbuckers in it. If you want it to be a rocker and you want to use gain, Stratocasters, I mean, they have single coil, it's unavoidable. They do have single coil hum, and I will show you by example here what I'm talking about. Now if you want to get really crazy, you could go an HSS version of EMGs in the guitar, and then you would have an ultra silent, very quiet guitar to use. EMG pickups, active pickups, are very high output. That's why Zakk Wylde uses them, and I think Dimebag used them. I know I'm not updating Reaper. Okay, let me go to OBS and see if my audio input capture. I have to change something real quick. Let me remove that. Yes, and then I'm gonna re-add audio input capture. Add existing. We'll go okay. Okay. Should have signal coming out of there. Reroute 1 and 2. Okay, give me a moment here. I've got to make a setting change on OBS. This will just take a second. Okay. Astonishing how this works. I have no idea how we can put a Mars rover on planet Mars. And let me see here. I've got to do my filter. Got a compressor. Okay. Okay, so this thing should be making some noise, and it is. So let's see what this thing sounds like with each pickup. So here, this is a great point in this video to kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about. I think right now I have a fairly low gain amp set up here. Let me check my Reaper session. Let's look at what guitar amp I'm playing through right now. I think I'm playing through the Morgan amp suites, which generally has a fairly low gain. Oh, in fact, no. But I am playing through the Archetype Gojira, which is a very high gain. Hearing a little clickety click. Oh, that's a buffer. No, it's not. I don't know what that is. This thing might have a problem with the electronics. I don't know if you guys can hear that clicking. I'm going to turn the delay off. I want to turn off any other effects on here. I might have a chorus effect going. Nope. So this is really dry. All right. Pickup heights are not adjusted properly right now. Right, okay, so now we're gonna go to I'm on the bridge pickup, and I'm going to go to a high gain amplifier, and I'm going to turn the noise gate completely off. Okay, there's your hum and noise from an amp that has high gain. Make sure I'm not blowing everybody's head off with this. Oh yeah. Let me make sure my my compressor is doing what it's supposed to. It does not look like my filters. Okay, the volume off, it's very quiet, right? Not too bad. Have pretty good quiet with the volume off, right? But on the single coil, so there's that. Now, with an amp like this, most everybody would have a gate on it, so we're going to put a gate on it. So what I'm doing is I'm adjusting the noise gate on my amp sim, just to kind of give you an idea. So right now, I think I have the gate turned completely off on the bridge position, so I'm going to start adjusting that gate until that noise goes away. We have silence. Okay, so right there, pretty quiet. Let me look at my signal. Yeah, we're pretty silent. And when I hit this thing, right, that's with the humbucker. Now the noise gate is set up for the humbucker, but the moment that's your single coil 60 cycle hum. So if you want to use an amp that has high gain, you've got to use, it's very important, I think, to use humbuckers. Now, you can wire, if you put basically single coil, single coil sized humbuckers in a guitar. DiMarzio Chopper, that's my favorite one, or the DiMarzio PAF Pro. That's another really great single coil hot rail. You can buy them to match the color. You've seen them on my Strat. If you've watched me play my Strats, the ones that I own, which is what I would do with this guitar if I owned it. I'm obviously not going to do that, but I do recommend a humbucker there. Volume all the way up. Silence. With the two pickups combined, we have silence. And that's the humbucker. So maybe that'll help you. Now that's a pretty high gain amp, Sparky, which I don't know if you're going to be doing that, but here's kind of a mid gain amp. I'm going to go to the amp. Let me see what this one, what does this one sound like? Still pretty high gain. Let me turn off this amp sim. I'm going to go to my Morgan amp suites. It almost sounds like that is buffer under. Buffers underrunning, or I'm going to change my audio buffer size. See if that doesn't solve my so you can hear, even with an amp that's pretty clean, and then we go to the humbucker, silent. I haven't even set this guitar up yet. I just did a neck shim and kind of did a preemptive strike on the side, the string height, and sounds pretty good to me, but you do have noise, so I don't know if that little demonstration may have helped you make a decision, Sparky. I don't know. That's a pretty good example of how algorithm. Hey man, yeah, Algo, good to see you, brother. Charlie, hello, Sparky. How do you, yeah, driving to pick up my grandkids. Good for you. I don't know if Sparky, if you're still here, man, if that little example didn't maybe help you decide on that. And again, my recommendations, because I've been using the DiMarzio single coil chopper, basically hot rail, and you've seen me on my guitar at home, my guitars at home, Strats, with those in them, and I love them. And I think pickups are often highly overrated in the tone. They do change the tone of a guitar for sure. You know, super distortion's probably going to sound a little bit different than, say, some Seymour Duncan humbucker. And the way they wind the pickups definitely makes a difference. But if you're playing with high gain, there's almost nothing pickups will do. That you could put a $12 humbucker in a guitar, or put a $200 Seymour Duncan or hand wired blah blah blah, and you're going to hear zero difference. Yeah. Well, and yeah, and Sparky, don't do as I do. I'm just I like the way that Vice Grip Garage does it. I am an idiot. Only do what I do if you feel like being an idiot too, I suppose. All right, so let's continue with the setup on this thing. I have adjusted the truss rod and such. I'm going to put the semi-chrome and, oh wait, let's take a flyby over the fingerboard so you can see what it now looks like after it's been polished and treated. Look at that. It looks brand new. Probably better than the day it was made. I don't know if at factories if they can actually treat necks with oil because of the possible flammable possibilities with treating them with oils like linseed oil, right? So I'm not sure. I have a Martin, brand new Martin instrument sitting in my shop right now that I can't open because it belongs to a young man who we purchased the instrument for, and I'm waiting for him to come in to unbox it. We did open the boxes and make sure that nothing was crushed, like obviously crushed. It was shipped via FedEx. I don't trust any of them. I have friends that work for both companies, and I'm not loyal to either one. UPS has really truly screwed me over, and I will never do business with them if it's possible for me to not use their business or contribute any money to their business and their insurance company. Those guys, they are scam artists. Do not insure anything. If you just put the money in your bank account and save your money and buy something, because insurance on shipping is an absolute total scam. You all probably, if you've watched my channel at all, you know what I'm talking about. That guitar, I did fix it, and the owner does have it now, and he absolutely loves that thing. So we're doing just a little bit of a string action adjustment. We're going to get this thing set up right. The bar looks really nice, although I am going to let it tilt forward a little bit further. So I'm just doing a preemptive strike on that. We kind of have an order of operations that we got to go. 4/64ths, and we're at 3.5 64ths on the D string, so that's good. And we're at 4/64ths on the G, so we're going to lower the G string a little bit. I want to be 3.5 on the G. Let's see where we're at. 3.5. Now we're at almost 5/64ths on the B string, so which is really common on these instruments, that the treble strings, the screws end up sticking up above the saddles. Where, you know, if you're catching your edge of your hand on these, that's kind of an interesting scenario. I think that might be something you might need to check your technique with if you're rubbing your hand on the screws on these strings. It's not something that I ever worry about or have had anybody complain about. You can see that these screws are sticking up above the saddles considerably. Ooh, that's way too low. Went way too far. I want 3/64ths of an inch. There we go. And I'm measuring at the 17th fret as Leo Fender instructed us to. I don't think many people will argue with that. He built one of the greatest guitars ever, or engineered and designed one of the greatest guitars, which I'm working on right now. And there's 3/64ths, and boy, that's 3/64ths. That looks fantastic. All right, so let's do a little bit of an adjustment, and then we'll have to readjust the saddles. But I want to allow this bridge to float. Let's tune her back up. Look at all this stuff we got to do. So the bridge is floating a little. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and float this bridge a little bit. I'm hoping I can get these screws. Nope. Drill bit's too big. Oh, I got a smaller one. I think. I did. There you are. Oh, there's my old one. So that's what happened. Huh. Well, see, I used to have a number 2 and a number 3, or the smaller, this size screwdriver head, but it's missing now. Again, you know, people borrow tools, I know. I don't lose a lot of tools on my own. I have a place that I put all of them almost every time I'm done, and if I can't find a tool, it's usually because it's someplace else at our shop, and it doesn't get put back. It gets borrowed and never not put back. I saw that with my large Phillips drive today, so which I had to go over and get, which normally I could just get it out of my toolbox, but today I had to go over to another bench and grab it off of there because it wasn't put back in my toolbox. Alright, so we've loosened the screws on that, which is probably way too much, but let's see what happens here. I watched a really Suburbicon. What a terrible movie. I thought it was. Okay, so now let's see what kind of a I've got a full step. Okay, I'm gonna move it a little bit further. You can see the I prefer to have bars floating than having them pinned. It gives you more tuning adjustment. And if your guitar does fall out of tune, usually you can just touch the whammy bar and it'll go right back into tune. So I'm going to give it a little bit more I'll turn the volume up just a bit. That feels really nice. 3 springs straight in a row, and I'm going to leave the back off of it for the time being because I might have to make a small adjustment, but I'm really liking how it looks and how it feels. Let's see, Steve Gunner, what's happening? Long time no see, brother. Snooks, welcome. Let's see, Derek. Vice Grill. Yeah, Derek. I have to believe it. I'm looking right at it. Oh, by the way, guys, if you missed this, here's what this guitar, you can see the guitar now. This is what this guitar looked like on Friday. I'll run this little slideshow for you. Believe it. That is what it looked like. That's what it looked like on Friday. We'll let it roll one more time so you can just take it all in. Now, again, the story behind the dirt on this instrument is that I don't like to admit this, but this belonged to the vocalist in my band, or a friend of his gave it to him, or something like this, and he didn't play it. It's a Eterna. Scott plays Squires, or plays real Fender guitars, and you know, he didn't ever play this thing, so this sat under his staircase, out of the case, for I don't even know how long. This was built in 2005, so sometime after 2005. But there is what it looked like before it looked like this, right? So again, I spent half of my life working on guitars, cleaning them, which this one was a very rewarding clean job. Really cool to make it look this nice and be able to put it up for sale at a, you know, a quality and a reasonable price. You know, and I don't feel bad about spending some time on this, because the store will definitely profit off of my labor and the time that it took me to work on this thing. So that is not an issue. All right, so now we've adjusted the bridge a little bit to get that whammy bar floating. So now I'm double checking my string action. 4.5, or about 4. And that one's about 4, tiny bit less. This one 3 and 3. Well, I'll be dipped. I think Derek says that all the time too. I'll be dipped, right? I've stolen that from him. We're in pretty good shape on this thing now. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna set the pickup height. I haven't adjusted the pickup height at all. That one's too close. We need to lower this side of this pickup just a little bit. When we change the neck angle, the string height, or the pickup height changes. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's good. That's good. A little too close, but tilted. That now it's almost like I'm out of work. I wonder, my help may have adjusted that pickup height. That's just perfect. Even after changing the neck angle and raising and lowering the string action, with the string action set where I like it, it is really in good shape. Now, let's look a little bit at the first fret action. We might as well do this while we're working on this thing. Let's see. Where's my 16? We'll use this. Perfect. G string needs to come down. B string can come down. So we're going to do a little bit on this G string. I need a 16. Yes, indeed. Okay, so again, I'm going to double check this. Make sure. All right, we're a little bit high there. Just a little bit. Taking a little bit off the back. I'll turn the volume down on that just a little. I don't want to blow your heads off with So we're going to take the B string down a little bit. The way the G string is behaving is exactly how I like it. And with these black nuts, it is hard. It is really difficult to tell how much material that's come. Oh, come here. You want to sneak up on it, you don't. I like to take a little bit off the back of them, just. There we go. We're going to take a little bit more off of this treble E. Just a little bit. I probably would have cut this slot a little bit closer to the edge of the fingerboard, but I'm not going to do that now. You want to be careful not to... Careful not to go too far. One swipe and you've gone too far, and now right. Get a little bit more out of that B string. And I know that folks don't realize how much that first fret action, I mean, it's a very important part of it, because if you're too high, what you end up with is potential intonation issues when you're playing chords down low on the fingerboard. You're having to bend that string a lot further than if you had that string that much closer to that first fret. Now you're having to bend the string that far to make contact instead of that far. And bend a string that far versus that far. The pitch difference is remarkable. So you've already bent the string out of tune by the time you're playing a chord there. So that is why I find the first fret action to be such an important part of setting up a guitar properly. Now I haven't intonated this instrument yet, so let's intonate it. I'm going to use the tuner in my NeuralDSP plugin that I'm playing through. Again, I'm playing through the Morgan amp suite. Let me see. Give me just a moment. Okay, my 920 mic is working, and I've got desktop audio working, and I got to put, I know that you can't see anything right at the moment. Let's see, window capture, I think this is how I can do it. Reaper, there we go, okay. You should be able to see the, see me working on the tuner. Let me see what I can do here with this. If I open Reaper, come on, and I open, let me check a look at OBS. Yeah, it won't let me. So what I'm gonna have to do, give me a second, let's do this, let's delete that, yes, and I'm gonna add, forgive me for doing this, screen, not window capture, display capture. Capture method, Windows, there we go. Okay, let me minimize that. Alright, so now we'll go to my tuner here and we'll see how intonated this instrument is. You can see for yourself how the tuner works and you should be able to hear it. I'm going to use the neck pickup for the audio. Oh, let me unmute the tuner. And again, single coils, Sparky, they're noisy. I'm using the neck in the middle position. Sharp, so flatten that one out a little bit. Still sharp. This is a process we got to go through to get. This is a process we got to go through to get the.
Oh, maybe some stereo equipment. Hey, bro.
Hi there.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
love them.
Interesting. I can't see that input. OBS.
Oh no.
Gotta mute things here. We go.
lunchtime, right?
Yeah, lunch is getting close.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry I had to turn the stream off, guys. Let's see. Yeah, I had to go help some folks here that were at the shop. So we're gonna, I can't, apparently, I'm not sure what is going on with OBS, but I cannot see my audio input capture that I have. I have no idea why this is doing this. This is just audio input capture 2. I have it activated, and I would love to delete some of these inputs, but all I can do is hide them, and I don't know why. Oh, there's a hide in mixer. That's not checked. This is weird. Let me show you that. Yeah, let me show you what I'm saying here. Is that you can see my 920 mic that's working right now, and you can hear me on that. And I have audio input capture 2 in OBS. And if I go here and click unhide all, oh, maybe it'll show up now. Yeah, all it shows is maybe this is audio input capture 2. Yeah, see, it's showing audio input capture, but there's no sound going to it. But I have audio input capture 2. Let me go to properties of this, and it does an audio input capture 2, but no audio is going into it, which I cannot figure out why. So what I'm going to do is delete this again and hit yes, and then I'm going to hide this. This is again OBS, and I want desktop audio. I want to be able to see that, but I'm going to add, I'm going to add an audio input capture, and I'm just going to add a new one. We'll call it, and we'll say OK. And then I'm going to say device reroute, and I'm going to go reroute 1 and reroute 2, which is the exact same settings. And now you can see that my audio input capture is working. And then on my 920 mic, if I go to my filters, I have a compressor, and I'm going to make it audio input capture so that when I'm speaking and I play my guitar, so that there's, anyway, I'm not sure why. So that's audio input capture. Now if I go back to this, see, audio input capture is not working. I have no idea why. Help me understand. You know, I've done everything in the order of operations. I'm going to remove that, and then I'm going to add audio input capture, and I'm going to go back, add existing, and I'm going to go to audio input capture, and so now it's working, and it's gating. So let's go back to, so what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to go to this scene, and I've got my tuner open here, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to hear me intonating this instrument anyway. And forgive me for having to walk away, but I had customers in my shop that I had to help, and we're a little short-handed today, which is pretty normal. So let's check our... Sharp. Boy, I've had to move this a long way. I had to move that saddle a long way. There it goes. Let me get my glasses up out of my ways so that I can not scratch the finish that I've spent hours on cleaning. So now I can see that where I've had to intonate this thing, I'm going to go ahead and make a preemptive strike on the rest of these and move them all back a ways. I did take this bridge apart and clean it the other day, which is another step. It was all, you could see the how close we are. Let's see how close we are now. A little bit flat. We're gonna probably we just moved it way too far. You got to be careful about resting your hand on a floating bridge. A little bit sharp. A little bit. I know there's a little bit of a delay on this, and that's fine. The delay is not pre-tuner. Rather lean on the side of being flat than sharp when I'm intonating an instrument. I say that all the time. Just because we bend our notes sharp, we can't bend them flat without a vibrato bar. There we go. Got to double check everything, sometimes triple, quadruple check to get your intonation proper. You have to tune them multiple times to get the bar, all the spring tension and the string tension all correct. Forgive me for having to leave there for a while, you guys, and I have to, while I'm at work, I have to be careful when I'm having conversations with clients. And sometimes I have to go help folks with selling things. Not sometimes, anytime somebody needs help buying something, I have to go help them. And we don't always have enough people here that I can turn that over to somebody else. Bit too. Digging it. All right, let's go back to this. There we go. And I think everything's working pretty good. And you guys forgive me again for having to leave Joe. For a few minutes to work. Okay, so it seems like this guitar is in really good shape. Got a little noise, a little more noise, a lot less noise because of the humbucking effect of having two single coils working together. So let's go to a backing track and see how well this thing holds up. I really haven't stretched these strings really intensely yet, so we'll go to a backing track and see if how well this thing holds up. Let's find something off of YouTube that I can use for a backing track. We'll see what happens. Oh, there's Leland Sklar. There was a new one from Elevated Jam Tracks. I want to look. Where are they? Where's Elevated? Do you guys go give a subscribe to Elevated Jam Tracks and set your notifications? That guy puts out some Samurai, some really cool stuff. So what I'm going to do, OBS Studio disconnected. Interesting. Maybe OBS is having some problems. Let me see. Yeah, okay. We're going to try this. Let's see what this sounds like. Hey, Joe. Let's find something else. Let's see. Let's go back. We'll find something smooth, healing guitar groove in F minor. Oh yeah, let's play something in F minor. There we go. F minor. stop that. So far, this thing is really seeming like it's holding in there. Nice to sound. I had to walk away for a moment. We got to keep the sales counter in check, and I had some pretty serious questions from a couple guys. But this thing really seems to be holding up real well. Bar work and bending notes and 3-fret bends and things like that, and I really haven't let this thing like settle in and given it the real big string bends and stuff. But I would say that here's the deal: because of where this guitar came from and because of who the guitar came from, this thing will probably join me at a gig if we don't sell it between now and my next gig, which isn't going to be until sometime in October. So I'm going to take this, and again, let me pull the tuner off the headstock. Yeah, this is an ET112Y0608. I believe built probably in China, I'm guessing. It's a Yamaha brand guitar. And also, let me show you again. I know I've shown this a few times, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up that another backing track by Elevated Jam Tracks. Please go to their channel and subscribe and do some soloing along with their amazing backing tracks. A lot of blues stuff. E flat minor, E flat Aeolian, F Aeolian, F sharp major. Let's go to F sharp. Nah. I'm looking for a boy, this guy, C sharp Aeolian, which is okay. Let's look at this one. Here we go. Nice. So I'm thinking I can probably solo along with this pretty easily. Oh, and I need to let me pause this real quick. I need to also go to OBS and go to my microphone and go to filters, and I'm going to add another compressor. And we're going to call it compressor 2, and I'm going to let it sidechain with desktop audio. Yeah. So now when I play it, forgive me if that sound was pretty bad. It may have been. You were getting it through the microphone in this and from desktop audio. This should handle that. It should be a little bit better quality. I'll start this over again. Here we go. This is again Elevated Jam Tracks. Pan China. There we go. Mark. Let me pause that. That's a great question. Mike, I appreciate you asking me that. That's a great question. Thank you for remembering. When we got there last night, the house engineer was in a city that was a long ways away attending a party that he had scheduled. And we had a sound engineer show up, and a gentleman named Jared, I'm not going to give you his last name, he was absolutely fantastic. So as it turns out, I was unaware. I was told that I was going to have to run sound. So no, ultimately I didn't. We had an engineer, and he was absolutely fantastic. We had a great gig Saturday night, pretty good sized turnout. And we had a birthday party that was there. A bunch of ladies that were roughly my age. One of them was celebrating her birthday. Actually, I was older than most of them, which was kind of nice. And all of them were married, of course, so I didn't make any good connections with regard to that. But yes, so ultimately I did get paid because I didn't have to do it. which was great. They took really good care of us, took great care of, we ate and had wonderful sound guys. So Mike, thank you for asking that, man. That means a lot. I was kind of looking forward to doing the sound, but Jared was absolutely fantastic. He and his wife are two of the coolest people I've ever met, and we may actually, I'm not sure, I haven't been invited officially yet, but I might be spending Thanksgiving with those guys. We'll see what happens. So let's go back to this backing track. I just want to play this thing for a bit, and we'll see how this goes in OBS. Pause this real quick. Oh, I just discovered what I need to do here, and I need to make another adjustment in. Let's go to filters, the compressor 2. Let's go to compressor 2. I forgot to do this, so now we will have that the mic muted while I'm playing the backing track. That can create some noise. I think unwanted, unpleasant duplicating of a signal. Here we go. Let's try this again for the third time. I just had to try it, man. Let's see. So all of that winding on this. Y'all, but how many people have you heard say, don't use my whammy bar? I lock my whammy bar down on my Strat because it doesn't stay in tune. I'm sorry, guys. I disagree with that. I mean, if you don't want to use your whammy bar, just get a hardtail guitar. These things work fantastically. Although this is a Yamaha, and I've set it up. I just got done setting it up. Brand new strings. Cleaned it up. And it's got some dings and things on it, but I think just to make it a point, I'm going to take this, if I still have it, and use it at my next gig. This is probably $100 guitar, brand new. I don't know. I haven't looked them up. But yeah, this may be Japanese made, given the fact that Sparky just commented on that. I really appreciate you sharing that with us all. So I'm feeling really good about the setup on this. I have a violin to get to this afternoon. Oh, and also I was asked about another instrument where the bass pickup. All right, I was asked about this, and here's what it looks like on the sides. All right, this was pulled out of an instrument. There was no pickup in it. They left this in the instrument, I think, because the paint probably stuck this. You can see like paint and glue or something holding that in place, which is kind of neat. But that came from this, which is another Yamaha instrument. So these pickups actually work, and they will go back in it when I get back to this. But I've ordered a new bridge position pickup for this thing, and as you can see, it was hand painted. It used to be black like the other one. They might have been bought as a set, who knows. This is the one thing that's kind of bugging me about this one, is this. I might have to glue some metal in there and drill it out so that I can get the control to fit properly in there, and or I could do something like that so that I have a nice flat surface here to mount the control to. But we're probably going to do volume, and then a tone control. Although I have considered doing a blend. I'm sorry, volume, tone, and blend, or volume, blend, and tone. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. I like a blend knob better. That way you just roll it all the way one way and you got... Anyway, that's again a subject of great debate. It depends on what you like. So this is where this came from. And let me see. I think it was sitting in here like this. Maybe. I'm not sure. So I know when I get the new pickup, it will probably either be way too big, it'll likely be way too big for this cavity, which is 99% of the time with these types of pickups, especially with somebody having painted this thing. It's likely going to be too big, but we'll see. And yes, I did. I ordered a $12 pickup. I ordered the cheapest pickup I could find, and it was 12 bucks from the Jungle Store. Yeah, so I'm willing to try that. The gentleman who gave us the instruments didn't ask for anything for them, and he wants them to find a good home. So we're going to just throw a really inexpensive pickup in here, and we will know if a $12 pickup sounds any good at all. I have nothing to compare it to. This thing was all, the guts were missing out of it when it got here. Here is the bridge for it that's all cleaned up and nice and shiny again. Have all the screws in there. So we'll see. It's a really cheap instrument. cheaply built, cheaply manufactured. One thing I also, let me see if I can lose a screw. And it's missing machine heads, but I do have replacement machine heads, I think. I've got a new set of machine heads for this that we're going to have to put on here to make it playable. So there we go. So Sparky, that's where that pickup and stuff came from. Sometimes I leave stuff out on my bench just to be sure that I don't lose it. So you guys, thanks for joining me today. I apologize about the long pause there in the middle of the stream, but I have to help clients when they come into my shop and want to purchase something. And we made a pretty good little sale, a couple sales there. So the mom and pop guitar shop / stereo shop / guitar repair / car stereo shop / television repair / Bluetooth / guitars. Yeah, we still are alive and strong in our country. We're all hoping for the I think we're all hoping for the rape of our economy to be over sometime soon. We are all getting fleeced with inflation and absolute brute greed in the upper 1% and probably upper 50% of our income. Inequality in our country is so terrible. If you knew what I got paid to do the work that I do, you would scream, and I will never share that. It's nobody's business, but let's just hope that our country gets repaired sometime soon. I don't believe that it's going to happen under the current administration or the next administration until we get some working class people in there that understand, like you and I do, about the economy of our country and how it works, and that don't rely on building bombs and stuff like that too. And it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you sit on, they both do the same thing. We are in a grave trouble. So I wish you all the best. I hope that you guys have a really great Monday. Mine's going to go good. I'll probably dive into this one tomorrow. I've got a violin that I've got to work on the rest of the day, and I've got a Martin acoustic that might go out the door today. So I've got a lot of stuff to do. So y'all have a great Monday. Do it for dime. Peace, y'all.